Welcome back to the Trogly's Guitar Show. Today I'm going to share with you one simple trick that is going to blow your mind as it lets you see underneath the finish of your instrument.
In order to perform this test, you will need a flashlight, a white background, and an instrument that you want to see under its finish. To begin with, you need to lay your instrument flat on the floor. You need to slide it all the way up against your white surface. Then locate your flashlight and turn off all the lights in the room. It's best if you have an area in your home that does not have any windows. An additional step you might consider taking is using some painter's tape over your bridge and tailpiece to reduce the reflections from those. This is essentially what we are going to be doing in this test. This works because when an instrument is finished, due to the way it adheres to the guitar, it follows the natural wood grain and flame pattern lines. So when you shine a light on it, it will reflect onto your white surface. Let's begin our test with one that we can already see the flame lines.
So you'll want to take your flashlight, start at your 90-degree angle, get to 45, and then half that again, and you should be about at the angle you want. Now if you have a large floodlight flashlight, I suggest covering almost all the light except for just a little bit at the bottom there, because too much light makes this so difficult to see. The closer the light is, the larger the guitar is going to appear on your surface. But here, do you see those black lines that are showing through on this side right here? That is the flamed figuring reflecting onto this white surface. It might be a little bit hard to see on the camera, however, in person, it is definitely ever apparent. Now, it's not just because this finish is transparent that we're able to see this.
It will work on solid colors as well. Let's do one more test run before we switch to a solid colored finish. This is a highly figured Archtop.
You see those lines there? That is the figuring of the wood once again. Sometimes it also helps to stand farther away. That way you can just reflect it all at once. But usually it's too dark to tell if there's any type of figuring. So I'll probably do the close-ups for the majority of this video.
Now that you understand what you're looking for, let's try it on a solid colored finish Gold Top Deluxe.
We can see on this side, it just kind of has a mild flame top under it. And that's what you're going to find usually with solid finishes. But sometimes you can find ones that have extraordinary figuring. Here's my Gibson Futura. It's kind of got a weird can opener shape to it. It's supposed to be a crow, but this is a solid maple body. I mean, it was made from one piece. And here you can kind of see on the bottom, there's some decent figuring underneath this thing, especially on this side of the body. So this one might actually look pretty interesting if you were to strip it down. And here again on the back, you can see a lot of nice wavy figuring. You can see there's like a large knot in the wood right there too. That's interesting. So yeah, this Corvus Futura actually looks pretty cool.
Here is an example of a semi-metallic finish that this will also work with.
Now this is an interesting one. You can see here it's actually got some decent flame maple figuring under it. You can see right there where the waviness is.
And this side is just rather plain.
So this wouldn't necessarily be a good refinish candidate just for a lightly flamed on one side guitar.
This test can also be used for the back side of the instrument. Let's take a look. I have the neck propped up on my foot here, and you can see all that beautiful mahogany wood grain with this test. This can also be helpful to determine how many pieces your guitar is made out of.
This one, if we look really closely, you can see the 3-piece neck. You could use this to check for neck breaks. However, as you can see, the neck reflects it in a circular pattern, so you would have to get some sort of dome over top of it. It's more effort than it's worth. This will work on all finishes, but satin ones are a real pain in the butt to see. I almost want to say it doesn't work, but you can see a very light reflection. Here you can see it just barely reflects. We can't really make anything out as far as the figuring goes, but you can at least see the pickup covers are reflecting and whatnot. This is also a good way to look for cracks in like Archtop guitars. This is a 70s Les Paul Signature. Here you can see the wood grain underneath this one. It doesn't look like we should strip and refinish this one at all. There's not too much going on, but you can see some of that wave-like pattern right here in this area. Up until this point, I've been using nitrocellulose finished guitars. This is a poly Epiphone. Now what's kind of cool about this one is you can see there is some figuring on this Epiphone, which is kind of cool to see. But do you see that line right there by the tailpiece? You can see this has a super uncentered seam on this guitar. So stripping this would, you'd have to just finish it in a solid colored finish because that would be quite the eyesore. But that's another great example of what this test can be used for, is to see how many pieces your back is or your top is. Let's illustrate this even more. Here is a 70s Les Paul Custom in a natural finish that I know is a 3-piece top. Let's see if we can spot the seams with this test. It's very hard to see it, but it might just be because this one is so expertly matched. It's even hard to tell in person. But you can just vaguely see a line running down by the tailpiece. And unfortunately, I can't get that viewing angle without being in the shot. And here we'll take a look at the mahogany back. You can see it's got some nice wood grain, but in person you can see it doesn't have figuring. So don't mistake this for like, oh, I've got a super ribbon mahogany back. It's just the wood grain showing through.
And lastly, let's look at my goddess.
You can see it's got some very mild figuring.
And just as the other ones, you can also see a seam line here on this top. And you can see the other one right here. So in the end, this test can help you see wood grain and flame lines, which can help you decide if you want to refinish your guitar or just cure your curious mind. You can check the number of pieces that your top is or your neck or how many joining lines there are on your back. And lastly, you can check for repairs. It's really difficult to check for a headstock repair this way, but it's great for seeing cracks in the top of Archtop guitars.
So I hope you guys learned something new today. When I first learned about this little trick, I knew I had to make my own video on it. So definitely try this for yourself. Let me know in the comments section what you found, and hey, maybe you have a refinish project in your future. Thank you for watching, Troglodytes. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care.